Hey everyone, welcome to the Darrin Collins podcast. And I want to take a second before we get rolling to ask you, if you're watching this on Facebook or some other social media, follow this link that Simone's going to put on the screen right now. Go to youtube.com/ at Darrin T. Collins, Darrin T. Collins. And right there, if you would, subscribe to the channel and click the bell for the notifications. Anytime we drop a new episode or new content out there, you're not going to want to miss it. We're talking about things that will develop your life, your leadership, your voice, your impact. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything that comes up. If you're already on YouTube watching this on one of our episodes, just right below the video, you should be able to like and subscribe, and that way you get all those notifications. So right now we're in a series. This is actually part 2 of a series we've been talking about our assignment, how to detect it, how to maximize it, make sure that our impact is achieved. This one, we're talking about the assignment and how it ties to where you're standing or where you're assigned. So this is a topic dug into. Said if you were going to write a book or a master's, do a master's degree or something, it'd be on this one word right here.
Yeah, no,
Adam and the space that he was placed.
this has always been a really phenomenal subject to me, John. I love the Book of Genesis, though. That's I don't know why it's always been my favorite book, but as I've studied over the years, this become a merging context, if you will,
Yeah.
that I can do this in churches, and I can do this in boardrooms wherever I'm speaking at. So I love the concept of a ground. And when you look at the text, I just read the text, right? So it's Genesis 2:7. The Lord God formed a man from the dust, and the word man is Adam in the Hebrew, from the dust of the ground, and that's the word Adamah. And he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. We read this 10 million times, right? When you look at the context of all of this, you start to realize that God reached into a dirt. There's 2 words in the Hebrew in the original language for ground or dirt or land in the Old Testament. One is Adamah, this one is translated ground. The other one is Eretz, which you have an LLC after, and it just means earth, right?
Yeah.
It's not a non-formed parcel of ground.
Yeah.
But this word Adamah, it really, in the context by which they're trying to paint this picture, means a tilled ground. So in the essence of it, and I could go way back, if we were at church, I'd do this whole Bible study on the earth started as a chaotic mess, and he formed this man and dropped him into chaos and said, I need you to govern and create order out of chaos. And that's still our assignment, just in case anybody was asking or wondering. Our assignment is to create order as God's regents, creating order out of the chaos. So when you look at all of this word, it means a tilled ground. Roll it over into the New Testament, and there's some funny transliterations from Old to New Testament, but it means the ground that someone has worked on, ground that has identifiable marks, that it's not left undone. You've heard me tell the story about the old man in the city. You got brand new preacher in town, right? And so beforehand, this old man buys this old parcel of ground, and it used to have these flowing brooks and all this stuff, and it is just a mess. Nobody's been there. There's trash and heaps and homeless people. I mean, it's just garbage.
Yeah.
Old man buys it, fixes it up, takes him 2 or 3 years. By the end of the day, there's people coming from all over just to say, hey man, can I come look at your garden? It's a centerpiece of the city now. Young preacher comes in, he's evangelizing through the neighborhood, John, and he's knocking on doors, telling everybody about Jesus, how good God is. And he comes to the old man, and he knocks on the old man's door. And we'll call him Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones comes to his door and says, yes, sir. And this young preacher, I'm pastor such and such from around the corner, just wanted to come stop by. He said, man, I saw your garden over here, and I just want to tell you how good God is, right? So he's telling the old man how good God is. He said, man, look at the flowing brooks and the lovely flowers and all this stuff. And he's telling him all this, and the old man's just standing there, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones looks at him when he's all said and done. He said, yep, you're right. God gave us the water and the stones and the seeds for the flowers. He said, but you should have seen this place when God had it all by himself. Said it was a wreck. That is what an Adamah is. An Adamah is where an Adam has placed his hand on ground, on buildings, on whatever, and taken chaos and has framed chaos into order, and he governs that order. And there's also this management governmental space that we have to understand with this text about an Adamah, that it has to be managed, right? And when you're moving in the ladders of success biblically, you inherit a ground. God gives you a space, and he goes, John, I want to see how you manage this space. Same thing he did with Adam. He said, Adam, the whole earth is yours. I want you to be a governor, a co-regent with me over the whole planet.
Yeah.
But first, I need you to learn how to handle this 4 by 4, 12 by 12, 20 by 20, 100 by 100, whatever it is or whatever it was. He said, I need you to learn how to manage in this space, and then we'll go from there. And that's the principle here.
Yeah.
That's the principle of the Adamah. The Adamah is that God gives you a space. He sends you here with a grace gift, a talent, whatever the case may be. And he says, John, I need you to take the assignment of the ground that I drop you in, and I need you to manage it properly and let me build that in, let me grow that out for you. That's the thesis of the whole Adamah.
Wow. So how would you define the word space? So like we look in Genesis, and it's literal and physical. Like there's a border of a territory that is physical dirt, and God says, this is the edges of it, and big as this table or big as this room, this is all that I'm giving you, and I want you to work it. So it's literal dirt. We don't necessarily mean God's given us a piece of land necessarily. How do you see space?
So I see space is the one. It could be land. Somebody could be a gardener, right? Like, hey, I'm a farmer, and God gave me this land, and I'm gonna manage it properly. But a space is the authority, quote unquote, dominion that you are now placed in. So let's look at it in practical form. If you're a doctor, that's your Adamah, your practice or your job or whatever it is. If you're a cashier, that's your Adamah. If you're a cashier and a mother, then both of those are your Adamah, and you have to manage them well. If you're a CEO and a father and whatever the case, you have to manage those spaces. So spaces have to do with relationships and all those things. I think it's both and. It's both the ground that you've been handed, the land, and the position. So I say land as a position, right? A job, a title, whatever you want to say it is. That's a space. That's an Adamah, governmental space, a teaching space, a banking space, a business space, a clerical, pastoral space.
Yeah.
These are spaces that God puts us in. And he goes, John, show me how you're going to do this right here. And let's walk this thing forward.
I love that, because in the church, especially, coming from that background, we really say, so I love this conversation because, background in the church, everything gets ethereal. It gets spiritual. And there are some things that are, I don't want to say delegitimized, but there probably are. Like you were talking about doctors, and you talking about moms, you're talking about cashiers, and like that. You're saying that those spaces are spiritually and physically important.
Well, I think
to God.
100%, 100%. They're just one of the things that we've missed in our backgrounds, right? Being church boys and minister boys for, 30 something odd years. We spiritualized, religion or church, or however you want to word that. We spiritualized that, and we almost demonized anything other than that.
Yeah.
If we didn't demonize it, we definitely demoted it, right, into a lower space. That's not the theory of God. That's not the practical principle of God's way. It never has been and never will be. The Jewish ideology, when you go to Judaism, is whatever dirt that God put in my hand is an assignment from God to me. And I'm here on the earth as his partner in the earth. God can handle the heavens. He doesn't need help there. He needs help right here. Not that God needs help. It's practical theory. So their mental model is, I've got to get into the culture. I've got to get into the business community. I've got to get into the governmental community. Exact same as the Muslim mentality. The Muslim mentality is totally different from the Christian mentality. Christian mentality in America is one day Jesus is going to come fix it all and we're going to leave. The Muslim mentality in America is, I'm going to be like leaven that you won't even see. until the whole loaf is left.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be hidden underneath, and I'm just going to work my way into government and education and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until I've got a space. We have a space in everything that moves the needle. And so that's what we've got to get to now as a quote unquote kingdom minded people, John, is we got to get to a space where we go in here and we understand that this is spiritual. There's no segregation between church and work, right? There's no demonstrated demotion between either or. This is important, and this is just as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
Right. I think more now in our philosophy now, we have this church is a filling station, but this is our work. This is the workstation right here.
Yeah.
This is where we make the impact right here. This over here is just a fill up.
Yeah.
Right. This is a energy drink, whatever you want, however you want to metaphorically tag.
Shot of espresso.
What is this shot of espresso right here? Right. It's going to get me going for the rest of the week. But this is where I make my kingdom impact in my community. This is where the rubber meets the road, where my policy or my theology meets my policy. This is where it's impactful, where I have boardroom sets of people that come say, can you help me become better? How do I become better? How do I get one more step in front of the other?
Yeah.
This is where my theology meets the rubber of my road. And we've missed that in quote unquote religious church over America. We have this mentality that this is the only important thing. I had a business guy come to me one time, John. He said, man, I've got these 3 businesses and we work on cars and I own all my shops and we've got all this ground and I'm getting older. I'm going to retire and we'll sell everything off and I'm going to go work for God full time. And my question is, well, who you been working for up to now? You've been working for yourself or what? Because the Bible is very, very depictive, saying everything you do it as unto the Lord.
Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, we had this conversation and I'm going, well, that doesn't make sense. You're going to give away the ground that took you 30 years to gain and you have no dictates as to how this ground's going to be managed after you're gone. And you think what you're going to do is go sweep the church and vacuum the floors. And that's working for God as opposed to this. And it's this mentality that we've been, that you and I inherited. We all did. Anybody that's over the age of 30, you inherited this thing from church that we believe this is sacred, this is secular, and one is better than the other. And if we'll take the sacred and the theology into the work and this become sacred, I think we'll raise the culture up. And that is what an Adamah is. An Adamah is where you send out an Adam, a person, a man or a woman, and you go cultivate that land, and where there's chaos, create order. Jesus said it like this in Matthew in the Beatitudes. He said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children, huios, the sons, the mature, and the word huios is a partner, right? It's the Hebrew word for partner, right? Where it's a bar mitzvah son where he's of age and he can now become a partner in the business. He said, blessed are the peacemakers. And that word peacemakers has the ideology in its roots that it's not a peacekeeper. That's what emasculated church wanted us to believe. It's not a peacekeeper. That's not what he said. He said, not peacekeepers. Peacekeeper said, John, no. You guys calm down. It's not worth the fight. That's not what he's talking about. The word peacemaker is that there is not peace, that there is chaos, and I'm going into the chaos. And when I get into the chaos, I'm bringing peace with me and order. So it should say, blessed is the order creator, for they will be called the partners of the Almighty God.
Wow.
And that's the principle that runs all the way through Scripture, right? That's an Adam moving into a space, an uncultivated space, and cultivating it to create an Adamah, and that becomes his or her land.
Yeah. So in our previous episode, we talked about drifting and all the noise and everything because the election had just happened. You're getting text messages from people, oh my gosh.
Right.
It's interesting that the theology and the philosophy that we inherited gives us such a great context to get distracted.
Oh, yeah,
to
man.
put our attention on the wrong thing because we forget about this principle. But one of the things we wanted to talk about was that the principle of proximity is that the work that matters most is usually right within your reach.
Oh my God. It's the only, I just had this conversation. It's so funny. I had this with a coaching client. and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, man, and I got a vision for this, and I got a vision for that. So, bro, you got a vision for everything. What can you do tomorrow that you know will move the needle? Well, I need to have this dispo, and I need to have this acquisition, and I need to have this over here, and I need to raise money, and I need to do this. And I go, what? Like, if you just dial all this down, all these good things, if you dial it down to what you're great at, then you could become a 10 at this, and you're going to make 3 times the amount of money. So it's funny because I was talking to this guy, and I said, what's the goal? What's the vision? I want to make this dollar amount. I think I can get here. So, okay, where are you at now? I'm about a third of that. Okay, good. Well, if you take all these other distractions out of your world, I could get you to this dollar amount in less than 6 months.
Wow.
You already have the potential here. You're trying to do this over here, and I'm trying to do this over here, and I'm trying to do that over there, and I really want to do this over here because this is where the big money's at. And we failed to realize, and I preached this 1,000 times, that real money follows mastery. It doesn't follow generalization. And the purpose of your enemy is to keep you a generalist and not a master. When you move from generalist to specialist,
Wow.
impact changes, money changes, life changes, everything changes. When you become a master skills person, and whatever the skill is, doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be skill of me, doesn't have to be skill of John, just has to be the skill, the assignment that God gave to you. The enemy brings you all these good things to go, well, hey, John, look at this.
Yeah.
Man, you really should think about this right here. This could be something you need to put your head on. That is the decay of the human existence.
Wow. And then I think Napoleon Hill talked about that. He called it definiteness of purpose.
Yeah. He wrote in his book on Think and Grow Rich. I think that's the first chapter. Is that everybody has to set an aim. Everybody needs a focus.
Yeah.
Right? Like his words were, the universe comes to assist you when you have a definitive aiming,
which is the Adamah.
It's the Adamah. When you understand that my role is to build myself into a master, right? And I think about all these kung fu things that I used to watch as a kid, right? I just watched Rush Hour.
I thought I was good, and then I get the nunchucks out and bang myself in the head.
Right.
That hurt.
But you remember the Chinese kung fu movies we watched, the TV shows on Saturday we watched?
Oh, yeah.
So you watch those on Saturday, and they always called the guy master, right? Master Fu Chien or whatever it was. So you think about how this thing works, and the chief aim, and you can study this out for yourself, whatever. Just do the work. When you lock in on a focal point, and I've proven this in my life, when you go, this is what I'm going to do. We just rebooted ours at Christmas.
Yep.
This is what we want to be right here. I want everybody on the same page. Here's what we're going to be for the next 100 years. This is what we're going to be. When you do that, Napoleon Hill said, all the universe comes to assist you in this aim. Right? And we talk about confirmation bias. We talk about the RAS, the reticular activating system in the front of your brain, where I have never bought a Range Rover before. And I go, well, there's no Range Rovers in Fayetteville where I live until I buy a Range Rover, and then there's 50 that I see. Why? Because when I have this bias that now I know this is in existence, I see it more and more and more.
Yeah.
The universe, and we could go all the way through this thing scientifically, the difference between particles and waves and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you set your aim, this is where I'm going. Everything in the universe is framed. There's a Bible verse that says the worlds were framed by faith. The worlds were framed. By faith, we understand the worlds were framed. In the context of that Greek, it actually means that faith is interwoven into the framework of the world that we live in. Therein, when I set my faith to a particular focus, the universe responds to my faith and goes, we need to help you push towards it. And whatever you choose to believe about yourself and that focus or that target or whatever you want to call it, everything around you will begin to move you towards it. That's what Napoleon Hill wrote about in a definite chief aim. And he said, when you have a definite chief aim, when you have a target, when you set the line, this is how you move away the noise, the distractions. Well, that's not what I want to do. I want to be an invest. I want to be a real estate investor. I want to have 100 rental properties, whatever the case may be. So when this comes along, you go, that's not what I invested.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Bitcoin came along, John, I should have jumped in it. But I had already decided that's not what I do. This is what I do. Because I had already lost money in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided this is what I do. And everything else is a distraction for me. Good, bad, or indifferent. I have stayed the course. Right? That's what a definite chief aim is. And that chief aim takes away the noise of good opportunities so that I can filter everything through the target that I'm trying to get accomplished. That's what an assignment is. That's what an Adamah is. And when you get into that zone and you go, like if you go, I'm going to be the best cashier that Walmart has ever known. It's not a big assignment. Like I don't want you to get twisted. Like I'm not talking about you've got to get into a big something really big. I'm just talking about wherever you are, do that. Whatever you find your hands to do, do it with all your might. And when you lay down into that and go, hey, I'm a cashier at Walmart. Hey, Darrin, how do I get to be a millionaire? Be the baddest cashier that Walmart has ever known. Be the absolute master at that job. Then another will open and jump into that and go up and up and up. This is how it's always happened. It's happened to me. It's happened to you. It's happened to everybody that ever hears this or listen to this right now. It always happens this way. It's line up on line.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
A little bit here. It's little by little. So, but if you don't have the line that you built, like if you didn't start in the first grade, I can't teach you second grade math. And if you don't learn second grade math, I can't give you an understanding of third grade math. It's line upon line. That's how life unfolds. The enemy just comes with these little things that go, John, this is really cool over here. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Because if you did this, I got an investor right now, John. Bro, I love this brother. He a good soul. He a good soul, man. Genuine, authentic. Wants to do great.
Mm-hmm.
Calls me every 6 to 8 months. Man, I saw this other investment. Have you seen this before? Can you check this out for me and see if this be good? No, that's not what I do. And it's not what you need to do. You need to just shut up and do what's in front of you to do and let the grass of investing grow. Yeah. Let the paint dry. Let it work. Part of our problem is we get distracted in the good things, especially when we're trying to make up for our messes in life.
Trying to catch up then.
Trying to catch up, trying to make up, trying to do all these things. That's not the principle. The principle is find a niche, own the niche, and let it grow.
Yeah.
Let it grow. And if you'll let it grow, it'll grow into more you could ever imagine or dream.
Was that concept that tending or cultivating leads to dominion, which is you're exchanging the word dominion and mastery and all of that. Like
Right. Yeah. It's the only way you get there. Practice, and then you get done practicing and you practice some more.
So you take the word cultivating and change it for practice.
Yep.
When you take land or gardening out and you put it in the real world, it's like, no, you just practice.
Right. Yeah. Somebody say, well, man, I just got the thing today. A buddy of mine said, man, I see your stuff on Facebook, Darrin. You're a phenomenal speaker, man. It's like you're a natural. Well, after 30 years, I look like a natural.
After your first sermon with your dad?
My first sermon with my dad in a storefront church with 20 people on a Sunday night. And my daddy tells me, and he sits there like this, John. This is how my dad would sit. And he has glasses on, so he'd lean his head like that.
He's super impressed.
Oh, my gosh. You couldn't impress him with anything. So but beforehand, he goes, look now, if this ain't your deal, I'm going to tell you, you're never going to do it again. Like you get one shot with my dad,
no
bro.
Pressure.
I'm sweating bullets, John. I'm scared to death. But I'm good at speaking now because it's been 30 plus.
Yeah.
So I should be halfway done. I'm not even I'm studying speaking. Like I suck. I'm horrible at this. I'm trying to be, Martin Luther King. I'm trying to be Barack Obama style speaking where, 100 million people go. That was really good. So, but it looks good now, halfway good now after 30 years and, a $30, $40, $50,000 studio. I should look halfway decent now.
Yeah.
But didn't see me in the storefront when I was talking to plastic white lawn chairs where nobody was there.
Yeah.
And I was practicing speaking to lawn chairs when I had nobody there. It's inch by inch. It's line upon line. And then I got invited to this church. Then I got invited to another church, and then I joined this group, and they wanted me to speak, but they didn't want me to speak on Bible, and I didn't know how to speak unless I was talking about Bible. And then I had to learn another way to speak and communicate with people that weren't Bible people. They loved Jesus, but we didn't come to learn Bible here. So now you got to talk to us about something else. And it's that piece upon that piece, upon another piece, upon another piece. And then somebody goes, man, you're really, really good at this. Well, I guess I should be halfway decent after 30 years. So if you catch that principle that you can build an Adamah, it's just going to take you building. And it doesn't, and then that thing will grow. It'll grow into other things and other things and other things. That's the principle of life.
Man, that's so good. So in this episode, we kind of tied back to the first session that we did on drifting and on distractions. There's all things that are going to be competing for your attention, all kinds of opportunities that come your way that are probably good. But the question is, as we close this episode, what land, Adamah, whether that's literal or figurative land that you have, what is it that God has placed in your care? And how are you cultivating that? How are you tending to it? How are you practicing in that area to get better and to master it?
Yep.
And I hope this has been good for you. Again, we want to ask you, if you're watching this on Facebook or any other social media and you see us, jump over to YouTube and youtube.com/@DarrinTCollins and subscribe to the YouTube channel there. We want to help make sure that you get all the content that's coming your way. Make sure you not only like the page, but that you also subscribe and get the notifications for anything new that's popping up. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, just go right below the video and click it right there and you'll be good. We're really excited about what's happening right now and the growth that is coming out of this podcast. Tell somebody about it. Get them sign up as well to get notifications, and we'll see you on the next episode.